Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. A little bit of Algebra 1 brought to you by the Mastermind channel. Chapter 5, Section 4, Solving Compound Inequalities. Compound inequality is two inequalities considered at the same time, joined by the word and or the word or. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. Compound inequalities. With and, we're going to write, and we're going to solve them. And with or, we're going to write, and we're going to solve them. Okay, so writing compound inequalities with and. So if we have compound inequalities, that's two inequalities considered at the same time. So here we have x is greater than -5 and x is less than 7. So both of these things have to happen together. Okay, x is greater than 5, open circle, goes to the right. X is less than 7, open circle, goes to the left. Okay, looks like this. I join those two lines together, and it stops at the circle of each. Okay, and then I can write that with the x in the middle like so. So let's look at writing a compound inequality. So we're going to look at the ends of this inequality. We have -4 here, and then 2. So we know that x has to be greater than -4, since -4 is not included. So we'll take the ends, -4, and it has to be greater than -4, and it has to be less than 2. Okay, and there you go. Writing a compound inequality. Now, remember when it's filled in, it's going to be or equal to. So, here we have -2, then x is in the middle, and there we have 3. Okay, our sign's going to be pointing this way, and then it's or equal to. Okay, so x is greater than or equal to -2, and x is less than or equal to 3. Alright. Go ahead, pause the video and practice. Try to do this yourself. Okay, so we have x in the middle. There's -5. Here's 0. And then our signs go this way, and we need to determine, is there an equal sign anywhere? Right here, this is filled in, so there's an equals. And this one is just x is greater than -5. Okay, so that's writing a compound inequality. Next, we're looking at solving a compound inequality. Okay, solving this, there are two situations we need to consider. So I've split this up. I took the left part of it, and I can solve that part, and then I'll take the right part and solve that one. Okay, so I need to add 5 to each side, and I need to do the same thing on each of these. So if you want a shortcut, you can do that same thing to the original inequality, compound inequality, add 5 here. Then you have to remember you're going to have to add it in every section. Okay, so that gives us 1 is less than r, and r is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so here we have our compound inequality solved, and then to graph that, we want 1. Okay, so we've got 1, and then 4. Okay, now we need to determine, are either of these filled in? This one at 4 is filled in, and then it goes between these two. Alright, solve and graph the solution. Go ahead, pause, and practice this yourself. Make yourself a graph. Solve the two. Go ahead, hit pause. Okay, first thing you should do, split it up on either side, and then solve. We're adding 1. Same thing here, adding 1. And then we get -2 is less than or equal to 2x. And over here we get 2x is less than 8. Divide by 2 on each side. We get -1 is less than x, and x is less than 4. Here's our compound inequality. -1, we'll circle -1. We'll circle 4. And then determine, do either of them need to be filled in? Nope, no lines underneath. So there's just a line in between the two. Since this is and, it has to fulfill both statements. Alright, again, pause and try to solve this one for yourself. Alright, so this is what your solution should look like. Got n in the middle, and then graphed from -4 to -2. Okay, now let's look at compound inequalities with or. Okay, to write compound inequality, that represents this graph. So there we have -3. So we'll want to write down -3. And then here we have 2. And then we know that x is less than -3. And in this case, x is greater than +2. And this is an or, because obviously it can't be both less than -3 or greater than +2. So it has to be an or statement. So here we have x is less than 0. Now notice this is filled in, so it's less than or equal to 0. Or x is greater than 2. 2 not included. Okay, go ahead, pause, and try this one yourself. Okay, so that is x is less than or equal to -2, or x is greater or equal to 1. Alright, now solving compound inequalities with or. Okay, both of these first have to be solved to get n by itself. Alright, so we'll circle that, and then here we're going to subtract 3, here we're going to subtract 7 from each side. That gives us n is less than -2. So we'll find -2, open circle, this way. Or n is greater than 3. There's 3, open circle, arrow goes to everything greater than 3. Okay, solving this one. Again, we're going to circle our variable term. Subtract 5 from each side here. Circle the variable term. Add 4 to each side. Okay, and then, in this case, notice there's a negative in front of the x, so remember to flip the sign. So we have -2x is greater than -2. Now we need to flip that sign the other way when we divide by -2. Divide by -2, and then x is less than 1. Okay, solve on the other side too. Now we have x is less than 1. So here's 1, circle 1, less than 1. Or x is greater than or equal to 3. Closed circle, and goes this way. Remember, you can do this above the line or on the line when you're graphing it. Okay, now to solve or graph this compound inequality, if I was to graph this, okay, I have k is less than 4, so that would go from 4 to the left. K is greater than -1. Now if it's or, it's going to go this way, keep going that way, if it's greater than -1. And if it's less than 4, it's going to keep going this way. So it's all of those. Okay, so when an OR statement graphs like an AND statement, when it looks like, okay, here's this part and there's that part, and they overlap, then the answer is all real numbers, because this arrow is going to go from this position right here all the way past the other one. This one's going to go all the way past that one and include all real numbers. So you could write it in set builder notation, all values of k such that k is a real number, or k is all real numbers. And then here's this situation. Okay, we have k is less than -3, and it says and k is greater than 2. Is there any number that would fulfill this statement? Where I can plug in, say, well, the number has to be less than -3 and more than 2. No, there is no such number, so our answer here is no solution. All right, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to like and subscribe to the Mastermind channel.